Marcus Hale took the night shift because it was supposed to be easy. No customers, no coworkers, just silence. 8 hours of sitting in a chair and watching cameras, the supervisor had said during the interview. Nothing ever happens here. The warehouse stood at the edge of an industrial park outside Columbus, Ohio, a long gray building surrounded by empty parking lots and broken streetlights. Inside were rows of storage containers, stacked crates, and long concrete corridors that seemed to stretch forever. Marcus started his first shift at midnight. The supervisor left after showing him the control room. 16 camera feeds filled the monitors. Hallways, storage rooms, loading docks, emergency exits. "Just keep an eye on things," the supervisor said before leaving. "Call if something looks weird." Marcus laughed. "Like what?" The supervisor paused in the doorway, then said quietly, "Like movement." For the first 2 hours, nothing happened. Marcus sat back in the chair with a cup of vending machine coffee. The monitors glowed softly in the dark control room. Rain tapped against the metal roof above. Every few minutes he glanced at the screens. Still nothing. Just empty hallways. Still air. Quiet. At 2:17 a.m., one of the cameras flickered. Marcus leaned forward, confused. Camera 12. A long hallway near the back of the warehouse. For a moment, the screen showed static. Then it returned. The hallway looked normal, but something felt off. Marcus frowned. Then he saw it. At the far end of the hallway, a shadow moved. A shadow passed across the camera, slow, deliberate. Marcus sat up straight. "Okay," he muttered. "Finally something." He checked the motion sensor panel beside the monitors. All the sensors were green. No alerts. No movement detected. Marcus frowned. "That's weird." He rewound the camera footage. The shadow appeared again, walking slowly across the hallway. But the motion sensor still showed nothing. Marcus leaned closer to the screen. The figure was human, tall, wearing dark clothes, walking calmly down the corridor. Marcus reached for the radio. "Hello?" he said quietly. "Anyone in the building?" Only static answered. Marcus zoomed in on the camera. The figure disappeared around a corner. He checked the motion panel again. Still nothing. No sensor triggered. That doesn't make sense. Marcus grabbed the flashlight from the desk. "Probably just a glitch," he said aloud. He left the control room and stepped into the warehouse. The air inside was cold and still. His footsteps echoed across the concrete floor. Marcus walked toward the corridor where the figure had appeared, flashlight beams sweeping slowly across the walls. Nothing moved. Nothing breathed. The hallway was empty. Marcus returned to the control room. The monitors glowed quietly. He sat down again, then froze. Camera 12. The hallway again. The figure was back, standing in the center of the corridor, not moving. Marcus leaned closer to the screen. The figure stood perfectly still, facing the camera, but the face was hidden in shadow. Marcus checked the motion sensors again. Still nothing. No detection. He whispered, "How are you not triggering the sensors?" The figure on the screen slowly turned its head, as if it heard him. Marcus felt a cold chill move through his body. The figure stepped closer to the camera. One step, then another. Its face moved into the dim hallway light. Marcus's breath caught in his throat. The man on the camera looked exactly like him. Same height, same jacket, same face. Marcus whispered, "No." The figure on the screen tilted its head, then smiled. Marcus stared at the monitor. His own face stared back, but the smile was wrong, too wide, too slow. Marcus grabbed the keyboard and rewound the footage. The figure appeared again, walking through the hallway, turning corners, looking into rooms. Every camera that captured the figure showed the same thing: Marcus walking alone through the warehouse. But Marcus had been sitting in the control room the entire time. His hands trembled. This isn't possible. He checked the timestamp. The recordings had been happening for the past hour. The other Marcus had been walking through the building, watching, searching. Then Marcus noticed something worse. The version of him on the camera was getting closer. each hallway, each corner, closer to the control room. Marcus switched to camera 3, the corridor outside the control room door. The hallway was empty. He exhaled slowly. Okay, good. Then the feed flickered, and the other Marcus walked into frame, standing outside the control room. Marcus stared at the screen. The man looked directly into the camera, then slowly raised his hand and knocked on the door. 3 slow knocks echoed through the control room. Marcus jumped from the chair. The knocking continued. Knock, knock, knock. Marcus whispered, "That's not me." The voice from outside answered, calm, identical to his. "Yes, it is." Marcus stepped back from the door. His breathing became fast and shallow. "Go away," he said quietly. The voice outside laughed softly, a perfect imitation of his own laugh. "You've been watching me all night," the voice said. "Now it's my turn." Marcus looked at the monitors again. Camera 3 showed the hallway, empty, no one standing outside the door, but the knocking continued. Slow, patient, knock, knock, knock. Marcus backed into the corner of the control room. "Stop it!" The voice answered again, "I can't." Marcus looked at camera 3 again. The hallway was still empty, but the control room door handle began to turn slowly. Marcus ran to the door and held it shut. The handle twisted harder. The voice whispered through the metal door, "You opened the cameras." Marcus felt his hands shaking. "What does that mean?" The whisper replied, "You let me see you." Marcus screamed, "Who are you?" Silence filled the hallway. Then the voice answered softly, "I'm the one the cameras found first." The door suddenly stopped moving. The handle became still. Marcus waited, heart pounding. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. Finally, slowly, Marcus looked back at the monitors. All 16 camera feeds were active, but every single screen showed the same image. Marcus, standing inside the control room, filmed from behind, from 16 different angles, even though there was only one camera in the room. Marcus slowly turned toward the dark corner behind him and realized something terrible. One of the cameras was not mounted on the wall. It was standing in the room, watching him. And behind the camera stood another Marcus, smiling, wider than before.